You want to get into it?
Yeah, I think so. Welcome back to the Pub Pool Podcast.
We got a special episode today.
It's a little special ep. It's about to be the holidays. We're about to leave for that, like literally tomorrow morning. So we were just sitting debating if we were even going to record this, but I was like,
It's going to be a tight episode. We got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, we've had a busy day. We just shot a sketch and did all the stuff. But we're about to leave to go to your family's for Christmas.
Yes.
Which should be chilly willy.
It should be very chilly willy. It's I know it's like freezing there, and then we're going up to New York for my brother's birthday. And the fun part will be, God, I hate how much we're not those dog people. Like, we don't call our dogs our children.
But we kind of do.
We treat them like our children.
We do.
Well, they act like children.
They're my babies.
But like, they're needy like children are. And I know everybody, all of my friends who have kids are like, what the fuck are you talking about? When we left for your friend's birthday, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we were originally planning to not bring the dogs this year for Christmas. Mm-hmm. I just was like, let's hire a sitter. We love Rover. Rover's great.
Yeah, they're not a sponsor though. So
yeah, not a sponsor.
We're middle ground about Rover.
Yeah.
Pay us and we'll say how great you are.
You're okay, Rover.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were like, we're not going to do that this year. We're going to go for like a week. So it's like, I don't want to have to deal with the whole thing. Yeah. And then, we went to my best friend's birthday in Joshua Tree. And what was it, like the second night?
Second night.
So the dog sitter just texted me and she was like, hey, is there like any reason that Ducky would be like throwing up blood for some reason? And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
And it was literally just because she was
refusing to eat. She was on a hunger strike.
She was on a hunger strike.
With her.
Mm-hmm. And so she like worked herself up, wouldn't eat. And then like, I don't know if it's just a little dog thing or all dog thing where it's like when they don't eat, it's like they'll just throw up.
No, it's a all dog thing. Basically, okay. So I mean, everybody with stomachs creates like bile.
Yeah.
And if we don't eat, the bile is used to break down the food. If we don't eat, we just like process the bile.
Yeah.
Dogs can't like reprocess it, so they have to throw it up.
Yeah.
And so she's starving herself, so she just keeps on throwing up, which is cutting her throat. She's thrown up so much because she's refusing to eat. Meanwhile, she's our chubby one.
I know.
She'll like, baby, you'll be mopping in the kitchen, and then if you're not paying attention, she'll be drinking the mop water.
She literally will try. Like I think the best way to explain it is that her life is that show. Is it cake?
Yes.
Everything she does, she's just testing to see, is it food? Is this edible?
Yes. And she wants to test everything.
But she doesn't know what's edible and what's not.
She doesn't know what cake is.
She doesn't care. This morning, she laid on me and I was like, you smell like rocks. Were you licking the rocks outside?
You're so right though. Where it's like is it cake? But she doesn't know what cake is. So she'll take a bite of something that's not cake and she'll be like, maybe this is what cake is.
Yeah.
And she'll just continue eating it.
She'd rather not miss out on the opportunity for food.
Yeah.
Our other dog, Goose, he's so self-sufficient. He's chill. He's good. And we've traveled with their dogs a million times before, but it's just such a hassle. And so I just was like, I don't want to do it. But
they're going to the city with us though, because
I know. I'm like, what's scarier? You leaving, like being separated from me because she's so attached to me.
Yeah.
Or like going on an airplane, going to a house with a bunch of people, other dogs, and then we're gonna probably like train or drive up to New York, and then you're gonna live in a hotel for a couple days. You're fine with that?
I think that she would rather be suspended above fire if you're with her than on our couch and you're not home. I genuinely
think so too.
Yeah.
She's just so clingy.
She's just the clingiest girl ever.
I know.
Okay, so this is gonna be a quick episode though, a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
We're going to do, I think we're going to do sports gossip, but then we're also going to do our predictions for 2025.
Yeah, we'll do, or / resolutions, whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you a fun holiday icebreaker question. Because we're starting getting to know each other. And I actually was like, I don't know this answer. Also, if you're, I guess, listening with children, skip ahead.
Oh, I have no idea what you're about to say.
But also, like, people shouldn't be listening with children to the show.
How big do you think Santa's penis is?
No.
That's what you're going to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
One.
Short but fat.
I think so too.
What?
I think so too.
Right?
Yeah. But I was just going to ask, how old were you / how did you find out that Santa Claus wasn't real?
Oh, this is way less inappropriate.
Yeah, no, I just was like, I don't know.
So I figured it out. This is probably one of the cutest things I've ever done. I didn't watch the movie. I read the book, The Polar Express. So the movie's terrifying.
The animation is terrifying.
It's like just before they really figured motion capture.
Yes.
So it's very like kind of, what do you call it?
Uncanny.
Uncanny Valley. It's very like, what are you doing? It's also got like a creepy hobo and at the end, was Santa the hobo? Was Tom Hanks all of them?
Was it like a Holy Trinity type situation?
The movie was bad, and I do genuinely get upset when I hear people say like good things about it. It's like
the hot chocolate song's pretty good.
No.
Okay.
Hot chocolate.
I like
chocolate.
Just feels like a fun little jazz number.
The book's beautiful. The book is really sweet. Have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
It's a children's book. It's amazing.
Oh, maybe I have then.
And basically it ends with he's going home, whoever the little shit is, and he's not gonna know. He's a little shit.
Let's be real. He's a little shit.
He went to the fucking North Pole on a light speed train. He's a little shit. And he basically gets back, and if I remember correctly, he doesn't remember if it was a dream or not, but Santa
gave him the bell.
Gave him a bell from his sleigh.
Yeah.
So I asked for a bell. It must have been, I have no idea how old it was. It was back, we weren't living in New York, but we were celebrating Christmas in New York still. So I just remember I asked for a bell, and I opened the present. I got the present and stuff, and I noticed that there was a tag on the bell, like a sticker.
Oh.
And this is the best way to describe me as a kid. I was like, it's just me with gossip too. I was like, I don't want my parents to know that I'm like,
to know that you know.
To know that I know. So I think I pretended for like 5 more years.
Yeah. Because
I didn't want to ruin it for them.
You? Yeah.
I was probably 6.
Oh, wow. You were young.
I remember this it's like a clear memory to me because I was like, Santa makes stuff in his shop.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no reason to put a barcode on it.
Yeah.
And I just peeled it off and I kind of like hid it. And I just remember being like 5 years later, I found I was like, oh yeah,
I know.
Oh, I just learned. I didn't want to ruin Christmas for my parents.
Yeah. You're like, they still want to be in on the whimsy.
I remember saying,
even though they had so many other children.
I remember saying, thank you, Santa. And also then the second that I realized that, when the second you really get used to that too, you're like, I feel very guilty not thanking my parents.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I'm giving this weird guy the credit.
Yeah.
For the gifts that you gave me.
That would be almost a good bit of like, you didn't get me shit. It was Santa. Like a kid.
That's actually really good.
That's good. We got to remember that. Well, recording will remember it.
That's true.
How about you?
I think I was in like 4th grade when I found out. Cause I think I also really wanted to believe. So like anytime people would like say he wasn't real, I'd be like, whatever, you don't get it.
Typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Normie.
You're why Christmas is losing its magic.
Yes, literally.
Jerk.
Have you not seen every Christmas movie? It's like we all have to believe.
Really quickly, that was also a thing too. I was a very analytical child. And when I was 7 or 8 too, that's I think where it really confirmed to me. I remember sitting down watching the 90th Christmas movie of the month and just thinking like in every one of these movies, it's about people believing or not believing in Santa. And at the end, they're like, oh my God, he's real. And I was like, it's very weird. If he was definitely real, we wouldn't be questioning it. It wouldn't be the plot of every movie.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like,
and like the parents are always confused too. Like it's always the biggest plot hole in every Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's like, why are the parents shocked?
But the parents are always flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Like,
where do you think these gifts were coming from?
Exactly. So
but that's one of those, you have to put it away, put it out of your mind.
Yeah.
You have to give it up for the Christmas whimsy movie.
Have they made a Christmas movie where it's like, it's about regular people, but everyone's like, well, Santa's real. Like it's not, because they should start doing that.
Yeah.
For kids.
Yeah.
Oh, were you ever threatened with getting coal?
No, I was a really good kid.
You were a really good kid.
I was like a really good kid.
I wasn't threatened personally.
My dad already walked away. Couldn't risk my mom walking away. Had to be so good.
You didn't want to scare her off.
So waiting for my dad to come home from the store.
That would be crazy. If he was like, I came back from the store. But just one time I remember my parents were in the car. I think it was just me and the older 2 siblings. And I feel like they were like, well, yeah, I know if you're not good, you don't get coal. And my dad was like, there was a few kids on my block when I was growing up, they got coal. Yeah. And then I made a joke. I was a very interesting child. Then I made the joke and I was like, well, with energy prices, I'm not even kidding. I made that joke where I was like, well, the value of coal is going up. I think I was probably 9.
It's moments like that where I wonder why your parents didn't get you tested.
I was operational. I actually do have that philosophy too of like, is he fine? Is he getting through stuff?
He's fine. Yeah.
If he's getting through stuff, like, why?
Yeah.
It's only when it's like, yeah, the kid can't read, or like he keeps on running into doors. Okay, put him on the meds. There's no point in doing it if it's like everything. He seems happy.
I know you're having a conversation here with me right now. I'm just kidding.
Oh, am I talking away from you?
I was just joking. Like, it's you won't make eye contact with me.
Oh, I can't really when I'm thinking.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm maybe autistic. I don't know. We
don't need to know.
We don't need to know.
If you are.
I've never taken a test.
Yeah.
But probably.
I guarantee I would put actually a lot of money on yes, you are.
Sure.
But at this point in your life, it doesn't really make a difference to get tested.
What's funny about they always say like, oh, he's high functioning. What does that mean?
Like you'd be high functioning.
Okay.
Like where it's like you can go about your day. Like it's not really a hinder. You miss certain things, like you struggle with certain things, but like you can go about normal life.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's high functioning.
Because I was like, or is it like high functioning autistic people are like the superhero autistic people, like the Elon Musk, where it's like they just they can just do anything. Like they see numbers or colors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which actually they are for me, but yeah, go on.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
I'm seriously not trying to be offensive whenever I make those jokes to you. Like, not to you,
am.
but I mean, like, in general, it's like, if people knew you.
I probably am.
They would be like, yeah.
I think most people who do know me are like, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found out Santa Claus was real because my, it was like a chain of events. It was like basically 1 year I got like, I was like, I was kind of curious about it. In the garage, there was like boxes that my mom covered with blankets. And she told me like, don't look under those because she said,
Melissa.
She said, don't look under those because those are, I think it was like her friend's kids or someone else's kids, like Christmas gifts. And she's like, I'm holding them like for them. She's like, and I don't want you to spoil them. So she's like, so I don't look, please.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then one of the days where I was like feeding the cat in the garage, I just was like, I'm just going to peek. And I saw that there was these two like pretend shopping carts.
Yeah.
And that's what my little brother and little sister got for Christmas that year. And I was like, okay. But I still had the like
play ball
coincidence though. Maybe my mom was holding on to this for a friend.
That would not, it's not crazy to think that kids their age would also want
these little shopping carts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, that would not hold up in court.
Yeah. That sounds like the Fisher Price shopping cart. That sounds like a great gift for kids.
It was a big hit that year.
Yeah. 4 to 7 or whatever.
Oh my gosh. It was the biggest thing.
Perfect.
They could pretend they're in grocery stores. Isn't it so funny how kids, it's like, we need to kind of get back to that too. I feel like we kind of lost it. There was just like, for the longest time, basically kids' toys were miniature versions of parents' errands.
Yes.
Oh, you get the gas station.
Yeah, you're playing pretend. They're like, you have their cash register.
Yeah.
I loved the cash register as a kid. Oh my God.
The most like tedious, mediocre, whatever activities.
Yeah.
Like the Easy Bake Oven, it was like,
oh, girl. I love
you
the
get
Easy Bake
to
Oven.
fucking cook shit.
Yeah,
oh
girl.
my God,
Except
I love
it
that.
never cooked the middle. It was like such a hazard.
Well, because it shouldn't.
It's like a light bulb.
It's not an oven.
It's literally a light bulb.
Rightfully so, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was an oven? We'd be in
some real trouble.
A lot of people wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
A lot of families, a lot of houses down.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, so I like kind of had that in the back of my mind. And then like later in the year, like it wasn't even around Christmas time. I remember this so vividly. I was going to like a soccer party for like my soccer team.
Yeah.
And I was like in the back seat of my mom's car. And I found like a notebook. And I opened the notebook, and in the notebook was every single thing that Santa Claus got me that year. And I was like, so I kind of closed it. I went on I did my soccer party.
You were like me where it's like,
I was like banking that. And
why make a fuss?
And then I asked my mom later, I said, why are all the things in here? And she didn't even try. She said, yeah, Santa Claus isn't real. And I was like, okay. I told her, I said, I figured. But
like, yeah, I figured. Oh my God. You were so cute when you were little too. You looked like little Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. I figured. That's so cute.
Although I don't think I had bangs at that point anymore.
No.
I outgrew them. I really only had them till like 7. And then they
our
just
kids
kind of
will
were
have
in my
bangs.
face.
I need our kids to have bangs. All of our daughters, I just want to be little used. The pictures of you when you were a little kid, the cutest ones ever where you look upset.
Yeah.
Like I can't
just because I had a little unibrow, so I just kind of always looked upset.
Yeah,
my little furrowed brows.
But I feel like you were upset if you were like, huh.
Yeah.
And it's the cutest thing every time I see it. I love that. But that just gives me the idea though too of, I think when our kids say there is no Santa Claus, like I found this thing, or there is no Santa Claus, is there? I don't think I'm going to say, yeah, there is none. I think I'm going to turn to them and say, no, there is. The reason you found the list is because I'm Santa.
You should. That's
right?
really good.
How is that like not?
And be like, we have to tell you something. We'll sit them down and be like,
I'm Santa.
your father's Santa.
I am. You don't see where I go for work.
Yeah, you guys don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the North Pole. I have magic.
Yeah.
I'm Santa. You can't tell anyone.
You can't tell literally anyone.
But you have to really say you can't tell anyone. I'll die. if you tell anyone I'm Santa, I die.
Christmas ends.
Because here's the thing. If I was a kid, if my parents had done that, this is making me think maybe we shouldn't. If my parents had done that, I think I'd play ball with everyone else. Like, oh yeah, Santa's not real or whatever. But I think like till like I'm 24, I'd be like,
yeah.
Yeah, I know he's real.
I know he's real.
I know he's my father.
It's my dad.
So that's why there's video of my dad putting presents under the tree.
That's why I caught him doing it.
That's why, oh man, it must be so hard now for parents. Like, all these kids have recording devices. They can just bug houses.
I know. The elf on the shelf.
There's just
a chance every single day in December where it's like, yeah, you're going to get caught with the elf on the shelf.
The elf on the shelf thing.
That honestly, it's really fun, but it's stressful.
Yeah.
Because it's something to look forward to every day when you wake up as a kid is where's the elf?
And did you have that?
I didn't, but my brother and sister did.
Okay, that was way before my time.
Yeah, that was before or after, yeah. But like it was so fun for them to wake up and every day be like, oh my God, what did they do last night? Or like, where are they hiding today? Like
kind of terrifying though.
Terrifying.
So when you go to bed,
they're flying around.
They're running around the house.
Yeah.
Fucking with your shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh my gosh, the elf got into this. It's like, if I was a kid, again, me, I would have been like, well, we should take care of this elf.
Yeah, and you're like not supposed to touch them. Like that, they're like they lose their magic if you touch them. So it's
good.
Like,
he's ruining my stuff.
They make it a little too stressful where it's like you'll just see videos of kids just like screaming, like they touched the elf, like the baby's got it. Like
yeah,
those are my favorites.
The elves, I mean, again, I feel like it's going to be really hard for me not to, especially on like a day where I'm like tired, to not be like, yeah, there goes the elf.
Yeah.
And I like bury it in the backyard.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be like, let's have a funeral. The elf died. I hope you're happy.
When my parents got divorced, I made a dad leaving joke earlier. Two dads.
Two dads. Biological dad left, stepfather.
Like long ago, but like my stepdad's my dad. But when my parents got divorced, because my brother and sister were still really young.
Yeah.
But obviously I wasn't because I'm a heap older than
You're 5
them.
years.
Like 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
And so when we would go to my dad's apartment, I would take the elf. I would put the elf in a sock, and it was like a drug deal, like trying to move the elf to my dad's house while the kids were there and trying to bring it back.
Mm-hmm. That being said, though, it is really easy to hide shit from kids.
No, it is.
It's way harder to hide shit from dogs. Dogs will smell it. Dogs will be like, I know it's here.
I know it's here.
I don't know where it is. But give me some time.
I know, not to bring it back to our dogs again, but our dog Goose, he's neutered, I promise.
He's sexually active though.
He cannot stop humping things. He hasn't figured out like Ducky's an option, which is an interesting thing.
Which is wonderful.
Which is great.
I really thought he was going to.
I thought so too, and that made me nervous, but he has no interest in humping her.
There would be a world though where it's like if that did happen and if she seemed fine with it, I think I'd almost have to have a talk with you and be like, it's like having teenage kids where you're like, look, I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but like, we know what he and his girlfriend are probably doing.
I know.
Like, it's probably just like, let's just, nothing, unless it's like ridiculous. It's like, let's just kind of look the other way when it gets uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like one of those things like, hey, sweetie, just don't look to your right.
Look.
But they'd have a real husband-wife. We would see them as like husband-wife.
Yeah, because right now I see them as siblings.
Yeah.
And I think they do too. So maybe that's why.
I think that one of them sees the other one as like her brother. I think Ducky sees Goose as her brother and Goose sees her as like fucking that bitch.
Yeah.
He's just over her.
He's so over her.
He was from the beginning.
Like he just, like he's just always been a grumpy old man, but he loves to hump things. And I have this body pillow that I refuse to throw away, and Jack wants to throw away so bad.
It's torn to shreds.
I know, but I every now and then I like to lay with the body pillow.
So let's get a new cover for it.
I know, but
it's the easiest.
But it's so cute, and he'll hump it anyway.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
But so he loves to hump this one body pillow, and when we moved into this house, I have just kept this pillow in my closet.
Yeah.
And then recently we started like decorating our office, and I had the pillow in there because I was like, this also works as like a jog bed, like Ducky lay on the jog bed. He started humping it again, and but he was like ripping it, and so I put it in the closet in that room. And now every time I go in that room, he just sits there and he whines in front of the closet. He's like, I can smell the pillows. Yeah. He can smell the pillows in there.
It's pretty easy when his.
And so he's so annoying.
When his fluid's on it.
Gross.
It's what happens. Why do you think it's sticky?
Gross.
That's why I'm saying let's throw away the cover.
He humps everything though. He humps the blankets.
And I wash them.
He makeshifts like a pile of whatever he can, like laundry.
I've never seen him do it in person because I swear to God he can't do it without thumbs.
I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
He does it.
I'll turn around and suddenly there's like a pile of something in front of him. He's humping.
Yeah, and then she'll hop on, she mimics it, being like, he's clearly loving this, and the whole time we're like, I feel so bad for him. Like she's clearly frustrated. She's like, what is it about this that he loves? Because she'll just mimic what he does after he's done with it.
I know.
And he lays like a man does after completion.
Yeah, and he's
like, oh.
He's a little dog with a lot to show.
He freaking pogo stick. He could
dude
stand up on it.
It's like longer than his body.
Yeah, we looked it up. Remember, basically every dog is the same size. So little dogs are like, whoa.
Like they're like, it's got to be. It's like so they can breed with like bigger dogs or something.
Maybe.
Like that. I don't know, but I'm like, it makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. But he is
freaks me
hung.
Out.
He is so hung to the point that whenever any of my guy friends come over, I'm like, okay, I need you to look for 1 second. Look at how huge my dog's dick is. And they're like, Jesus.
He's still like. This is the grossest conversation we've ever had.
He can't walk.
He has to arch his back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't touch the floor.
You can tell from a distance when it's happening because he's like, oh, poor boy. He can't move.
I know.
Yeah. So 2025, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I got some predictions.
I have some predictions too. Should we do our predictions?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
You want to go back and forth? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have too many. I have like 5. Mm-hmm. I'm actually really excited to be going into the year 2025. That just sounds like a good year to write.
Good. Yeah.
I haven't gotten used to 2024 all year.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was 2023 all year, but 2025 is like it's like a 2020 type.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you give me a prediction.
Okay. So my first prediction, I'm going to give you the prediction. I'm going to tell you how much something's a lock. So like,
okay.
This is a sports gossip bit, but the term lock basically means it's a surefire thing. Like just if you could bet on this, fucking bet on it. Number 1, absolute lock. Ariana Grande and SpongeBob are breaking up.
I actually don't think so.
I think they are done.
Yeah.
I think that they are the second Wicked 2 is done rapping, maybe even mid shoot.
I think they already finished.
They're done.
Yeah. I think it's just part 2 comes out next year. So yeah.
Well, here's the question.
So they only have the press tour left.
Is she working on any other projects in the meantime?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's going to have an affair with somebody else then. Unless she's like, I'm on vacay for a year, in which case, then no. But if there's like, oh yeah, she's shooting a new movie, they're done.
Yeah.
When has she ever stuck with somebody the second she sees somebody else?
I don't know.
And then SpongeBob's going to, he'll fade into obscurity. He's not getting another job.
No, he's not.
No, unless we haven't seen Wicked yet. Unless it's like, wait, he is.
I know, we need to see
Leonardo
Wicked.
DiCaprio.
Like the second we come back from Christmas, we have to go see Wicked.
Yeah, there's a chance we probably see it with my family.
Yeah, maybe. I think Alex Earl and her whole family is going to get a reality show, and people are actually really going to like it.
Oh, interesting. I could see that. The way you've been describing them, where it's like they're all kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're very interesting, and I guess this is so niche because you don't follow influencers.
I follow them through you.
Yeah, but it's like through me. But I've noticed there's been a switch in Alex Earl's content a little bit where she's always kind of done get readies with me, and people like her for that. And they do love when she includes her family and stuff because she's a very blended and entertaining family. She's kind of the age gap sibling thing. So she's a bunch of little siblings. She's a sister who's close in age to her. So there's a really fun dynamic happening. But she kind of hasn't just been posting the like, get ready with me and like, here's like a family vlog.
Yeah.
She's been like posting things in the way of like, she posted this thing the other day where she was trying to get ready to go to a game, like one of the football games. And she was like, I don't know what to wear. And her sister's like really good at fashion. So her sister's been like, let me be your stylist or whatever. And it's not a vlog. It's just her phone set up and it's just a video of them like arguing with each other like sisters.
That's great.
And her being like, I thought you said you wanted to be my stylist. And she's like, not today. And she's like, well, those boots are ugly and like stuff like that.
That's the
where I'm
good
like,
shit.
I'm like, this is gearing up for a reality show where it's like, it's not just the curated vlogs. It's here is 10 minutes of our life of us kind of acting like sisters. And that shit's so entertaining. And that's what reality shows are. Like, that's what the Kardashians are.
And so her dad's a bajillionaire, right?
Yeah.
Is her dad still working?
Yeah.
What does he do?
So I think he owns like a lot of like construction stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. That actually usually lends itself to, because there's a certain thing where she's from one of the Carolinas.
She's Jersey.
Jersey. Okay, well, so because basically it's like, okay, for the reality show, if you're gonna do a family reality show, it's like the Kardashians, obviously, Bruce Jenner at the time and Kris Jenner were freaking all about it.
Yeah.
And the D'Amelios, I'm pretty sure the parents retired and are just trying to live off their kids' fame. So it's like, yeah, they're in it. But if he's like legitimately successful.
He is, but he's also their managers now. He manages both of them because.
Oh, then for sure it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, it's just, her podcast has been doing this. I don't know. So that's like a general prediction.
I
where
like
I'm like,
that.
I do think they're going to get a reality show and I think it's going to be very well received.
I could totally see that.
Kind of like the Mormon Wives show last year where it was like, that was a hit. That was like the first like real hit reality show in a couple years where it's like, this works. This is real reality TV.
That weirdly feels like, and because what you would have in that reality show, I'm producing the show right now. What you would have basically is you'd have the family dynamic. You'd have, and the family dynamic would be basically, it's like obviously the little kids, they're funny. How old are they? Like up to what age?
Like max 11.
Okay, so yeah, they're young.
They're young,
but
kids.
that's still fun and it's cute, and they got that, so it's a little bit more family friendly there too. But then you also have the subplot of basically the parents, because they're really interesting, and then you can kind of also have like, okay, and then when we're out of the house, besides like if there's like a parents thing out of the house, and we're following Alex Earl herself.
Yeah, like
so,
it's like, what is she doing? She's super successful, has this big career. So
that's
it's
half
like
the episode is her.
She's the Kim.
Yeah,
and then here's her family.
But she's even more of the Kim.
Yeah,
because she doesn't have any other people her age where it's like
just her.
Now let's follow.
She has
Chloe.
one other sister that's like 2 years younger than
okay,
her.
So
yeah,
and so she's in the game too. What's her name?
She's Ashton Earl.
Love it.
She was just dating one of the big DJs actually, and they just broke up. I just saw a headline today.
What's his name?
John Summit.
I love DJ John Summit. You know me and DJs.
DJs. All right, what's your next one?
People will completely forget about Mudang.
I think so too.
Mudang is going to grow like a hippo. Gross.
I love hippos.
But won't be as cute because hippos are cute. Baby hippos get famous cute. No, Mudang's gone. And then they're going to try to replace Mudang with Lashi or some other one.
There kind of has been like a battle of the baby zoo animals lately.
Yeah.
Because who's the big penguin? Remember that baby? There was like the big old penguin.
Kind of.
Where it was like, this was like a record breaking, like
the biggest baby penguin.
Yeah.
I remember you showing
where it was like,
me.
he was like bigger than his mom already. Yeah.
But like that, like, I mean, that's one thing too of like zoos now know we get more money if we have a famous animal.
Yes.
Babies get, every freaking baby animal is like equally cute.
Yeah.
All baby hippos look like Mudang.
Yeah.
So, but the whole thing though is like people, I don't think that they're going to try to be like, well, here's another baby hippo. Nobody's going to really care as much.
Yeah.
Or they'll just call it Mudang. You're right. There's going to be, some zoo is going to hit it big.
Yeah.
By being like, look, have you ever seen a baby otter?
When was Harambe 2017?
Why do I feel like Harambe was like 2013?
I'm going to Google that actually really quick. Because I'm like, I feel like it was 20.
I know it was the Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah. 2016. May 28th, 2016. That was 8 years ago. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So the kid who fell in's only 11.
What a weird life for that kid.
Doesn't that feel like it was forever ago? Because don't you like
Do you
see some kids where you're like, they grew so fast and it's
do you
like,
think he tells people?
no.
I don't think I
don't
ever
think
would.
he will.
No.
Because I was like, if today he was like 15, I think the kid would have made a TikTok already. But
I don't think it's worth having
no,
that, even though I do think that like,
it's obviously not the kid's fault.
no, it's not the kid's fault. It's the mom's fault.
It's the mom's fault. Yeah. And so it's like, no one should be mad at the kid, but it's like,
no, but still it's like
the kid can't, like, it's a shame thing forever.
you would get the meme joke harassment.
Yes.
That I'm sure like the Rizzler gets, and he gets enough positive support. I'm sure the Rizzler also is like his parents, like kind of run the account and stuff too. So they just sort of shield it.
The Rizzler's dad does run the account.
Yeah. Good. Cause it's like, otherwise, obviously I wouldn't be shocked if the Rizzler can't read. Let's be real. But
the Rizzler is my favorite. I have like real maternal feelings towards the Rizzler when I see him. I'm like, he's just
a cute little kid.
Yeah.
He's a little circle. He's literally shaped like a circle. Every time I see him though too, I'm like, we got maybe RFK Jr.'s right. Yeah. But okay, that was my second one. What's your next one?
Oh, I think that Tom Holland and Zendaya are not even going to announce that they're engaged. I think they're just going to be like, boom, Vogue wedding.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to straight up get married. I think they've been engaged.
Yeah.
I think they're engaged currently. I think they're keeping it a secret, and I think they're just going to straight up get married next year.
If we were at that level, I'd probably want to do the same thing.
Me too.
I'd be like, look, I don't want it to be public, the engagement thing, because then it's a whole ordeal. It's just more shit.
Yeah. We never talked about our girl Sally Sell got engaged.
Who's that?
Selena Gomez.
Oh yeah. To who again?
To Benny Blanco.
Who's the DJ?
He's like a producer songwriter. He's written like every big song ever.
Yeah.
Like he's like crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy successful. And I know people like give him so much shit just because of how he looks. Like I'm like, he's a crazy, successful, talented man. Of course, Selena Gomez is attracted to him. Like, of course, like when you see someone who like works really hard and is like passionate and talented, it's like they automatically become attractive. I don't want to hear the like.
You know, it's so funny. I looked at like the first pictures that pop up. I was like, what do you mean what he looks? And then I saw them sitting next to each other. I was like, oh yeah, no, I do get that.
Yeah. I
do get him getting some hit for that. Well, also
like,
let's be real.
Fuck off, guys.
Fuck off. But also, let's be real. This is me being. Michaela's the nice one. I feel like Selena Gomez is definitely sort of like I'm the star person.
Yeah, probably.
It's nice being with somebody like it must suck for you when we go out, I pop. You know? People don't even realize you're in pictures when you're in pictures with me.
Basically.
That's what everybody says. So, I mean, I'm just saying what everybody says. So
you really dim my light.
Nobody ever asks, how did he get her? It's always the other way around. It's only the other way around. So, but I feel like there is an element of that too, where it's like, just for everything I know, and again, this is all secondhand through you, where it feels like she's a little catty.
I think she does kind of have a lot of the like, I'm a victim complex a little bit.
She's a Taylor Swift friend, right?
Yeah. Which I love Selena Gomez, but I have gotten a little fed up with her over the past couple of years with the way she's like, I'm taking a social media mental health break, and then comes back literally 2 days later. And I'm like, why are we announcing 2-day breaks? We don't need to do that. Just get offline.
Because she, like everyone else, is addicted to it. But it's even more addicting if like imagine how like when we're vibing, when we have like a good month where it's like everything we fucking post, our stories are getting hundreds of thousands of views and stuff. It is addicting to be like, I want to do another thing. Imagine if you were Selena Gomez and the bar was, will I get 1 million likes and 10,000 comments in the first 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I feel like it's hard to take a break from.
Yeah.
That's the most validation you could ever have.
Ever. Instant validation.
1 million people.
Yeah.
Like in 2 minutes, 1 million people are like, yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm happy she's engaged though. This is her first engagement. So I thought.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was interesting, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think those two are going to make it.
Okay. So this next one I have. So my previous two were, I'm giving them 80% positive. Those are 80% positive. This one's literally a 50-50. I have one of these things is going to happen.
Okay.
And I have two of these in a row. So my next one will be one of these two. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are either going to get engaged, and he's going to play another season, or he's going to retire and they're going to break up.
Interesting.
I think that
See, I actually could see
the opposite.
retiring and getting engaged.
So
Also, do you know what I think I randomly have a weird feeling that they'll get pregnant before getting engaged. On purpose though. Like that's like a purposefully thing.
So
but
there's an element of too, he's good breeding stock.
yeah.
He's
That cream of the crop, baby.
that child will come out strong.
She's tall. Like they have a great mix.
Oh yeah.
They should have a kid.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what they look like.
Me too.
Certainly. So, I mean, I could see that. That does feel very in vogue right now.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, so here's my insight on like the celebrity athlete relationships. This is the pattern I've noticed. When athletes retire, it is such a shock to their life and their significant other's life.
Yeah.
That like right now, I don't know how much time Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce spend together.
Yeah.
Because they're
both busy people.
They're both constantly having to travel for work. And like during the summer, like you're not seeing Travis Kelce a ton because he has to get in shape or he'll die on a football field, which he showed up and wasn't in shape this year. But he's still in enough shape where he hasn't died yet. Like he still can play. But it just feels to me like the second he retires, Jason, his brother, the second he retired, you knew he's an analyst.
Yeah.
Because Jason's really smart. He's like one of the smartest football players ever. He retired immediately. He's an analyst everywhere. Everybody loves him. He's kind of weird, like a G-rated friendly guy. So he's now on all these commercials. Travis isn't that. He's not nearly as bright as his brother, unfortunately.
But he is still a personality, though.
He's a personality, but
I don't. Yeah, you're right though. With the like,
if you ever listen to their podcast, rarely, if ever, have I ever heard they'll have a very insightful conversation, and then afterwards you'll think, I think Jason said every insightful thing. I think all I heard Travis say, and if you ever listen to the podcast, I'm about to do a perfect impression, was, all right now. That's all he says.
Huh.
And I have friends who are like that.
Yeah.
But he, I think that the second it's over, he might get a few, initial nods of like, oh, I'll go try this thing. And it won't really work out. It's kind of what's happening with Rob Gronkowski right now, who's better than I thought he would be. And he's really pushing for it. But I don't know. I just feel like Travis Kelce, all of a sudden, he's going to have a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of them are needy, but I think that there's going to now be a pressure of like, well, I'm not doing it. Should I go and tour with you? And it's like, it's kind of different than what we usually do.
But, or is that like a nicer thing for her to like have someone who's
steady at home?
Kind of like not really doing their own thing because she's so busy. It's like, well, he'll just come with me now. He's free.
Which is true.
But
will he want that?
If it's up to me, I want to be in your shirt with you.
Absolutely.
You know me.
Absolutely.
I'm a clingy person. I want to do literally everything with you.
But we are our like biggest defining, like our relationship was really made during COVID.
Yeah.
When we had to be in each other's shirts.
Yeah.
So of course, but like their relationship, it's built on this. All right, well, I'll see you in 3 weeks because we have 3 straight away games and you're going to Japan.
Yeah.
It's like, there's just, it's going to be such a shock that either it's going to be boom, married, which I don't think. It's just, this seems to be.
Because I you know what, like someone like her, like of her caliber, it's one of those things where it's like, is it smart to get married? Like, or is it better to just to be like, this is my long-term partner type thing? Which obviously it's like, you can get whatever prenup and stuff like that. Like obviously she would be safe no matter what, but it's like there is like a certain thing with like super, super, super successful people where it's like just to not even do it and just be like, let's just be partners.
I think because he's wealthy enough, it's also funny too. It's
like,
I
guess that's true.
It's like for A-Rod and J-Lo, they didn't need a prenup because they're both equally wealthy.
Yeah.
A-Rod made a ton of money and A-Rod's a businessman. Travis Kelce does commercials.
Didn't J-Lo and Ben not have a prenup this time around? I think that was like the story, but I don't know if they're going after each other for anything. I doubt
they are.
I don't think they are.
I'm guessing it's because J-Lo's, I would bet a lot, is worth more than Ben.
I think so too.
And so I'm guessing Ben's like, I'm not going to hound you for money. And it's like, I believe Ben.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like I could see J-Lo being like, fuck you, give me money. I feel like Ben like,
Yeah.
Let me fucking smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette outside of Dunkin' Donuts and just be like, oh, God, morning air.
I know. We keep saying that we want to have like some sort of Ben Affleck segment because we both love him.
A Renaissance. We need one happening.
Yeah, we just need to be like, here's the Ben watch.
Okay, what's your next one?
I think Sabrina Carpenter and Harry Styles will be rumored to be dating or will be seen like out.
Interesting.
Even though I think she's more of a spotlight person in her personal life than he is, I think they might have like a singular date / just rumored to be dating type thing.
Yeah, which honestly for her is just as beneficial.
Yes.
She has people talk about, are they?
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if this is really the tone of our podcast, but here's my prediction.
Okay. It's just predictions. There's no.
Like the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift one, this is an either or. One of these things is going to happen. Now, usually you go into New Year and everybody's predicting for the world like chaos. All this bad stuff's going to happen. And I always say, no, nothing ever really happens. This year, one of two things is going to happen. When Trump takes office, within a few months, all of a sudden there's going to be just kind of like peace around the world. Where there was a Wall Street, did you see the Wall Street Journal article? It was actually a really big deal.
Today?
A couple of days ago.
On what?
Basically, it's funny. It was a big enough article that I could say the Wall Street Journal article. It's like whenever people mention that now, it's like that one.
Because I was going to say, I read a different Wall Street Journal article today. So it's like,
It was basically an in-depth report saying, no, Joe Biden has been out of his mind for 4 years.
I did see that.
There's been a huge cover up.
Yeah.
Everything that has been said to you is a lie. And we have people admitting it now.
Which, do you know what is going to be so fun?
What?
Is like in like 5 years when we're like out of Trump's era and like everything, we'll basically be far enough away from it.
Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House again.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's 92.
She'll be 92.
Refusing to let it go.
Like she'll still be rocking it. I think there'll be like a really good documentary about how they like did that.
Honestly, though, here's the thing. I don't think so because I think that's like a 25 years. Stuff that big of a deal.
I guess that's true.
I mean, we still don't know the JFK stuff. And the reason that everybody says is because a lot of people involved are still alive.
Yeah.
And they're like, we just don't want to release it while this person's still alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they committed a crime?
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, I think that after Trump takes office, within a few months, there was either going to be like kind of peace, everything's going to calm down, or it's going to be complete, absolute chaos around the world. And for 2026, we're going to be in a very different place.
Yeah.
Also, I think Doja Cat's going to release a new album.
Oh my God, bestie.
And I think it's going to be really good. Really good. And I
Yeah.
think everybody's going to completely forget that they were upset with her.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, Doja's back.
I know. Well, her last album didn't get nominated for anything.
Well, wasn't she kind of a C word about it? She's
kind of
bit cunty for quite some time.
she's off and on, but I love her.
Well, she makes great music.
Yeah, I'm always a Doja stan.
But like, I feel like I could see why it wasn't nominated.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have a Trump prediction actually.
Ooh, do.
I think Trump is going to do a verse on a rap song.
Interesting.
Couldn't you not see that though? Like
he's really tight with. That's what nobody talks about. He's really tight with a lot of rappers.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like maybe he'll bail someone out or something like that, and he will do like literally like 3 lines of a verse, or like he'll record some sort of speaking intro for one of these rappers, and it'll be like a really big deal.
How many times did I say to you during the election? I was like, why do they keep on saying he's a 34-time felon? And then the next thing you know, they'll have like a rapper on who has 12 songs about how he's a felon. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you attacking anybody who's ever broken the law and been convicted for it? A lot of them were like, they're rehabbed.
Yeah.
You saying that they're never good ever?
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of silly felonies.
There's a lot of silly felonies.
There's a lot of silly felonies.
There is.
Yeah.
I always say felony would be a gorgeous name if it
would be
didn't
beautiful.
mean what it meant.
It's like felony, chlamydia. Like there's a lot of that.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of those beautiful.
Yeah. Chlamydia is a beautiful name. Why does it have to be chlamydia?
It's a terrible, terrible disease.
Can they rename chlamydia to something else so we can have that name?
You went a rebrand that never stuck. at least when I was like in sex ed, they started being like, it's actually, we're not calling them STDs anymore. They're STIs. Who the hell says STI?
Actually, I do every now and
Really?
then. Because there is like the reason of like,
it is an infection. You can treat it.
Are treatable.
Yeah.
Because STDs and STIs are like, can be categorized differently.
It's like DUIs and DWIs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it for my predictions.
Do you have any big goals?
I want to watch a Timothée Chalamet movie.
Finally.
I haven't seen a single Timothée Chalamet movie.
Shit, I might not have either. I've seen, he was in the Don't Look Up movie, but he was in it for like 12 minutes. It wasn't like
I didn't watch that movie.
It wasn't a Chalamet vehicle.
Yeah. No, because I feel like next episode we'll get into we have been talking about Timothée Chalamet a lot lately.
I can't think of a bigger 180 on a person.
Me too. Me finding out that he wasn't British completely changed my perspective on him.
In what world is he not? Is that name not the name of a European?
Right? It's because he spells it in a fuck ass way.
Like,
but now I see him as like, because at first I was like, oh, he's like a fucking like artsy, like British guy who needs to eat a cheeseburger. But now I'm like, that's a little punk ass skater kid. I love those guys. Like, those are my favorite types of guys.
Here's the thing. I have to explain. I all the time will explain to Michaela, like, this is just sports stuff, of like when people are talking about sports, I have a really good radar because I speak the language, a really good radar of like, does this celebrity actually know what the fuck they're talking about? Like, I know we just talked about how we love Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck does not know sports. Yeah. He does not know football. He'll talk about the Patriots because he's from Boston. He does not know football.
Yeah.
And who's the one? I mean, the worst one to me by far was Tim Walz, but that was because every tweet he had, I was like, if this was tweeted in your language, you'd be like, this is not English.
Yeah.
He used the terms, every football term incorrectly.
To be fair,
it
was probably his social media person who was
then fire them after the first one.
Yeah.
Because lost my vote. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But it was the most like
the Jim Walz football tweets lost my vote.
There are certain things where it's like, if somebody was pretending to speak your language, you're almost offended by it.
Yeah.
Where you're like, don't try to relate to me if you don't, with things that you don't know none about.
Yeah.
So, but Timothée Chalamet, I can confirm, knows what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Like, he could do sports gossip. He could translate stuff.
Yeah.
God.
Timothée Chalamet, please come on Sports Gossip. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
I know he's on a little bit of a press tour right now. So Timmy, we'd love to have you on.
It's a smaller show.
But boy, oh boy, would it be a big deal.
It's a boutique show.
It's a boutique show.
That's what we defined it. A nice boutique show. That's a term, right?
I don't know.
It's a boutique something is like a, I think it means like, it's like, it's, one of the more like, it's smaller, but it's cute.
It's cute.
And it's family owned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So are you ready for sports gossip?
Hit me, sister.
Okay. So if you haven't seen this before, I love sports. You don't love sports. I found out the only way for me to actually communicate sports with you is if I translate it to you like it's gossip.
Yes.
So today we're going to be talking about the NFC North.
Okay.
Now, before we even start, I'm just going to go ahead and say this is going to be the longest sports gossip we've done. Will this be our 5th division?
I believe so.
5th out of 8 total NFL divisions.
The whole handful.
The two I've been almost putting off, and everybody in our comments has been like saying these two over and over again. They've been saying NFC North, AFC North.
Yes, I've seen a lot of North comments. What are you guys, Santa Claus?
By the way, if you're wondering, okay, what's the third one we have to do? It's the AFC South. I don't think I've seen a single do the AFC South. The AFC South, we'll get into that later, but it's like the AFC South this is, okay, just a fun fact about here's how you can describe, here's actually, you know what? Let me just describe the way the conferences are laid out really quick, because I think this could be interesting. We won't make this a clip, but this is just kind of interesting. So the Eastern conferences, the AFC East and the NFC East, those are like the sort of the old guard in a way, where it's like, those are like the original classic teams. The Dallas Cowboys only came around in like the 1960s, but like the two New York teams, team from Boston, like they're just sort of more of like it feels like they're more of a, they're the wealthiest teams.
Yeah.
The Western teams, the NFC West and the AFC West, those are sort of newer teams. And they're really far apart from each other. They're kind of like on their own little islands, like a lot of the Western U.S. states and stuff. The Southern teams are sort of the newest divisions. Like they have like the newest teams overall between them. So the smallest fan bases, the least history. They're kind of they're the teams that everybody forgets about.
Yeah, they're the runts.
The Northern conferences are by far the most interesting conferences. They are the conferences where all the teams are the closest together.
Yeah.
Like the cities are next door to each other. So they have, when people are like, oh, the Giants and the Cowboys hate each other. It's like, yeah, no, we do hate each other. But I'm a Giants fan, by the way. Some people thought I was a Cowboys fan. I don't know why. Will never be. Ever. Fuck them. Fuck them boys. But the Northern conferences, it's like, no, they hate each other. Like fist fight hate each other.
Yeah.
Real problems. Like Dodgers, Giants hate each other.
Yeah.
Baseball Giants. Anyway, so that's kind of how the divisions break down. But so we've been putting off doing the NFC North just because it's like, man, there's almost like too much to be said. So we're going to do our best, but this is going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay. So the NFC North is like Parks and Rec.
Ooh, okay.
The Green Bay Packers are Chris Traeger.
Okay. And Perkins.
And Perkins. If there was anything you could say to like knock the Green Bay Packers, it's that they are annoyingly, consistently good.
Okay.
A lot like Chris Traeger.
Yeah.
Like Chris Traeger's healthy. He exercises all the time. He's a good person. He makes the right decisions with everything. The fucking Packers make the right decision every time. They've only had, in my lifetime, 3 quarterbacks. And I'm sure you're wondering, like, what does that even mean? Is that like really like that big of a deal? It's pretty unprecedented and will probably never happen again. And if it does, it'll be by the Green Bay Packers. And just to like give you like an example of like how ridiculous that is, in that same time span, their division rivals have had, the Bears have had 17, the Vikings have had 18, and the Lions have had 11.
Okay.
And the fact that the Lions have only had 11 is, it's because they had this one quarterback, Matthew Stafford, for like an extended period of time. That, if anything, that's impressive.
Yeah.
They've had 3. One was Brett Favre. He's in the Hall of Fame. One was Aaron Rodgers. He's guaranteed in the Hall of Fame. And their third one, which started last year, by the way, his first start was last year, which means they had 2 quarterbacks my entire life until last year. This is insanity. And they're Chris Traeger, where it's like,
where it's like you want to hate them because they're so perfect.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, Brett Favre is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And in 2007, the Packers were like, you know what, Brett? Things have been great. We're actually going to move on to this younger guy, Aaron Rodgers. And everybody's like, what are you doing? He's like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You're getting rid of Brett Favre, and then fucking Aaron Rodgers is better than Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And then last year, they were like, okay, Aaron wants to leave. Whatever, see you. And they're like, well, I mean, you don't just let Aaron Rodgers walk out the door. Jordan Love's better than Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah.
As a football fan,
They only upgrade.
As a fan of not the Packers, as a football fan who isn't a Packers fan, like I hate them because of that.
They have really good taste in men.
But so then here's the other reason why they're similar. Just how it's hard to hate Chris Traeger, like it's really hard to hate him because he's such a good person. It's so hard to hate the Green Bay Packers because they're so fucking likable.
Yeah.
I mean, for starters, they're when you see like those cheese hats.
Yeah, that's how fun is that?
That's the most fun.
An accessory? Girl, I'm in.
Right?
If there's accessories, I'm in.
Is that has to be the best sports decoration.
Easily.
Like sports merch.
Easily.
And by the way, there's millions of them. They all have this cheese head. And I've worn them before. They fit so comfortably.
Harry Styles is a Packers fan. Fun fact, he's not even American and he loves them.
Exactly. Like just, they get the fucking British. Other stuff though too. So they are the smallest city to have a professional sports team in America. Like by far the smallest city. In fact, their stadium, Lambeau Field, which is a historic stadium, can fit 75% of the population of Green Bay in it.
Wow.
That's how small their city is. Their stadium fits 75% of the city.
That's crazy.
It's fucking adorable. I hate it. It's so annoying how adorable they are.
Yeah.
And then just to top it all off, they're the only team, like usually when people like hate an NFL teams, like a lot of the reason is like, oh, and their owner's an asshole. They are the only professional sports team in America, maybe in the world, who don't have an owner. They're publicly owned. They're a nonprofit. The Green Bay Packers have the same qualification, essentially, as a charity. All these other teams are for profit. They're nonprofit.
That's crazy.
And they're still consistently really good.
Huh.
And I mean, also just like, they're by far the best team historically, especially recently historically, in this division. Just how Chris Traeger's the boss. Like,
yeah.
It's just the Green Bay Packers, the only way you can knock them is that it's annoying how, like, you can't hate them. And it's annoying how they never suck. Like,
don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Right? Know? The Chicago Bears are Ron Swanson. Like Ron Swanson, the best way to describe the Bears is that they are tough, gruff, and old school.
Yeah, I'd say that's Ron Swanson.
That's the Bears. Like, the last way that you would ever describe Ron or the Bears is flashy.
Yeah, no.
So, historically, the Bears have been good at two things: their defense and their offensive line. And by offensive line, what also comes with that is their running backs. So running the football. Basically, playing defense and running the football. AKA the least sexy part of football. Mm-hmm. The part of football where everybody's like, okay.
The standard stuff.
Yeah. The kind of like tough mentality, the low scoring games.
Yeah.
That's what the Bears have historically been known for. In fact, they are the only NFL team who has never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards. The only NFL team. Now, just so you know, just so you can realize how insane that is, the three other teams in this division have all either had one last year or will have one this year. And they had at this point in football, because the rules have changed, where like it's easier to pass. They want to incentivize passing. They want to incentivize more scoring. Want to incentivize like less boring, more sexy football.
Yeah.
At least half the quarterbacks, it feels like every year, have 4,000 yards. They've never had one.
Wow.
Ron doesn't like people. He doesn't like parties. The Bears don't like to throw the ball. Like, they just don't. They like being boring. They like being consistent.
Yeah.
The Bears have more players in the NFL Hall of Fame than any other team. 0 wide receivers. They've the most Hall of Famers in the entire league, none of whom are wide receivers. They're all offensive tackles, offensive guards, defensive tackles, nose guards. The boring positions, the positions that like I really love, but not the positions that get people to actually watch the game.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. That's not to say that the Bears aren't successful. They're one of the most successful teams in history.
Interesting.
They, I believe, have, and I got to confirm this, but I believe they have, like, they're in the top 5 most wins all time in NFL history. And I believe they're in like the top 3 highest winning percentage, which is like wins compared to losses in the NFL all time. And so it's like just how Ron is like, he might actually be the richest person in Pawnee. The Bears are very successful. You don't have to be sexy to be successful. And Ron and the Bears are both like, they prove that rule.
Although I think Ron Swanson's kind of sexy.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you can be accidental.
Just
No, that's true though. But like
it's like a quiet sexy.
But he's not trying to be.
Yeah.
He doesn't want people to know that he's what's the
Duke Silverman?
Silver. He's not Jewish. He doesn't want people to know that he's Duke Silver. He's embarrassed by that. He's embarrassed about him being sexy whatsoever.
Yeah, he doesn't want to show off his talent.
He's resistant to it. They just like the Bears and Ron, they just refuse to adapt to the modern times. But here's the thing. When Ron does adapt, it's usually when he goes back with one of his ex-wives, Tammy 1 or Tammy 2. How does that usually end?
Poorly.
Yeah. So what's fun about this is that this year is the first year where it really feels like the Bears are making an effort. They drafted the most hyped rookie quarterback in the last few years at least, who's just like a really fun, sexy player. They signed 2 more star wide receivers. And if you're wondering like, oh, how's it going? Well, they've lost their last 8 straight games. They're last in the division, and they've already fired their head coach in the middle of the season. So not super well. Now, here's the thing. It might get better.
Yeah.
They're sort of trying to adapt and change their identity. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's the one, like every time people are like, oh, wow, the Bears are finally here. It's like, I don't know. They're an old dog and you're trying to teach them some new tricks.
Yeah, not going to happen.
It might not happen. So if I were to ask you which Parks and Rec character is the opposite of Ron Swanson, who would you say?
Probably Tom Haverford.
Tom Haverford. So Tom Haverford is the Minnesota Vikings. And actually, let me just say real quick too. Yep. The Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. Treat yourself.
Well, the Vikings certainly do treat themselves. So the Vikings are the opposite of the Bears. They are flashy. I mean, their uniforms alone, like just put it, the Bears are navy with an orange in there.
Yeah.
The Vikings are purple.
Yeah, that's very girl boss of them.
A beautiful purple, by the way.
Yeah, gorge.
Well, Minnesota is also like, that's like the purple city. That's why like, Prince is from Minnesota. That's why he's all purple.
That makes sense.
Their color is purple.
That's a very gorge color.
I can go into further history about that, but maybe at another time. This is where Autistic Jack comes in. I can explain the whole history of purple in Minnesota, but no need for that. Just how I said, like the Bears, like they never threw the ball. The Vikings have had just how like the Packers always have a good quarterback. It feels like the Vikings always have like an all-time, one of the top best receivers ever at all times.
Okay.
They're always able to throw the ball. They always have an electric wide receiver, an electric passing game. Their defense historically hasn't been great, even though they're great right now. They've had great running backs, but it's not necessarily like a continuing thing. The one thing you know when you turn on a Vikings game is there's going to be some high-flying touchdowns. And it's been that way for a few decades now, from Randy Moss up until now with Justin Jefferson. And even you can add Jordan Addison to it. I mean, there was a time when we didn't think that the Vikings were going to have like a very good passing game. And then all of a sudden, they're like this random kind of dorky white wide receiver named Adam Thielen becomes like one of the best in the NFL for like 5 years.
Yeah.
They're just always able to do it for some reason. But here's the thing. Like Tom Haverford, the Vikings are all flash. They're all sizzle.
Yeah.
Not a ton of steak, but a lot of sizzle. Unfortunately, like Tom Haverford, while they are filled with really great ideas, like they have a ton of potential, they're super exciting to watch, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what's he going to do next? Even though they'll have like a great start to an idea, they never cross the finish line.
Yeah, there's really no plan. It's just kind of, it's like when two guys are like, we've got an idea. We got to hustle and grind.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to make this company. But they have the company name and that's about it.
But here's the thing, like, exactly. But like Tom, like sometimes Tom he made Rent a Swag or he'll create like that restaurant or something. He has these great ideas. It'll look like it's going really well. And then like with Rent a Swag or the snake juice thing, all of a sudden it's like, and he's forced to sell and it's over.
Yeah. What was his entertainment is like 27.
Entertainment 720.
Yeah.
Like the Vikings will have an unbelievable regular season.
Yeah.
They'll be, one of the top seeds in the NFC. They might even win the NFC. They might even win the NFC North. They've never won a Super Bowl. They've been to 4 and have won 0.
Damn.
Like, it's just a bummer though, too, because every year one of the nice things about the Vikings, and it's kind of one of the nice things about Tom Haverford too, in a way, is like, they are always underestimated.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like every few years, they're like, oh, well, the Vikings are rebuilding. They're going to be terrible. And that's always the year where it's like, holy shit, they won the division.
They won.
This year, everybody thought the Vikings were going to be terrible. The Vikings were high in the odds. Like, the Vikings were one of the betting favorites to have the worst record in the NFL this season. They're currently tied for the best record in the entire NFL. So, like, think about that.
Damn.
Like, they were supposed to have the worst record, and they currently have the best record, and there's only 3 games left. The Detroit Lions are Andy Dwyer. Okay. Like Andy Dwyer, it's like not super pretty looking at the Detroit Lions past. And by not super pretty, I mean it's a mess.
Just like how Andy used to live in the ditch.
Like just how like Andy went through most of his adult life without having health insurance. The Lions were the first NFL team to ever finish a season without winning a game. 0-16. They were the first team to do it.
You know what? At least they're consistent.
Consistently, it's kind of sad.
Consistency's key, though.
Andy lived in a ditch outside of his ex-girlfriend's house. The Lions have never been to a Super Bowl.
Oh.
They've been around since the founding of the NFL, and they've never been to a Super Bowl. I think they've been to 1 semifinals.
Okay.
Andy forgot to brush his teeth for 5 years. Until last year, the Lions hadn't won a playoff game in 33 years. And the last time that they won a playoff game before that, JFK wasn't the president yet. So last year, the Lions won only their second playoff game since Dwight Eisenhower was the president.
Oh my, that's like super old.
When I say they're historically bad. I'm not exaggerating.
We're talking like open up the textbooks and blow off the dust super old.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Like really horrendous. They were a mess. Like Andy Dwyer, the Detroit Lions are the textbook definition of a glow up.
Okay.
Because a few years ago, just like, remember when Andy came back from England and he had lost 60 pounds? And then a couple of years later, he's like a successful children's musician with a TV show.
Yes.
The Lions, historically the worst team in the NFL, arguably with the Cleveland Browns. The Lions, starting a couple years ago, became one of the most exciting teams to watch in football. They currently are tied with the Vikings for the best record in the entire NFL. And in fact, they're ahead of them because they beat them head to head.
Wow.
The Lions, before this season, were the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And the only reason why they're not currently that way is because they've had a bunch of injuries on defense. And still, they're high up there. And still, they're probably my pick to win the Super Bowl. The only reason why I would ever doubt them winning the Super Bowl right now is because they're the Lions. And you're like,
it just doesn't happen
it just feels like it always goes wrong.
But like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that would be so exciting.
So they're the textbook definition of the glow up. But that's not the real reason why they're similar to Andy Dwyer.
Okay.
The real reason why the Detroit Lions and Andy Dwyer are one and the same is because they are all heart. Like, you can't watch Parks and Rec and not say like, okay, well, Andy's biggest redeeming quality is that he's just a big teddy bear. Like, yeah, he's dumb. Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah, he makes bad decisions or whatever. But it's like, but he's really kind and he's nice to people. And you just want to kind of like give him a hug. The Detroit Lions, and they're kind of playing with fire right now because people love them. Everybody loves them right now. Probably even a lot of guys in the NFC North love them right now because they were so bad. And almost it's kind of like, oh, this is great. They're picking up, but they're starting to kick everybody's ass. So you're like, after a while, it's going to get old and you're like, fuck the Lions.
Yeah.
It was that way for the Patriots too. When Tom Brady won, it's like, wow, the Patriots. Because
they did it.
Because they had sucked before. And now it's like, fuck them. So the Lions have a very unique head coach. His name is Dan Campbell.
I've heard of him.
He's my favorite NFL personality at the time right now. He's not like the other coaches. He's not one of the like analytical geniuses. He's not like some old drill instructor, drill sergeant type. He is all heart. He's all passion.
Yeah.
Also, he's a 6'5", 270-pound beefcake.
There's something about a big man with a big heart that just makes you melt.
Okay, so in a post-game interview after a brutal loss in his first season as the head coach, Dan Campbell was seen fighting back tears. Now, what was interesting about this was he wasn't fighting back tears because the team was 0-5 or because he was worried about his job. Fighting back tears because his team had played so hard for him. They'd fought so hard. And he just said it was tough that like, even after all that, he felt they deserved to win and he felt bad for them. And I have never, ever seen that in a coach, especially an NFL coach, who is so by far, and it's not even debatable, the physically toughest NFL coach. If you put all 32 head NFL coaches into a ring,
he would win.
One man's walking out of it. It's not even up for debate. The other 31 coaches would say the same exact thing. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Freaking Dan.
Whoop my ass.
Motor City Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 270 lean. Their quarterback's Jared Goff. Jared Goff was essentially tossed in the trash. Basically, the LA Rams were like, he sucks, whatever. They made a big trade with the Rams where they were like, okay, you get... They traded Jared Goff essentially to get rid of Jared Goff's contract. To be like, he sucks, whatever.
Uh-huh.
He's currently in the top 5 of basically every major statistical category in the NFL.
Wow.
Jared Goff, like, talk about a glow up.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's glow up.
People were forgetting about him, and now every year they're like, he probably should be up for MVP.
Wow, good for you, Jay Goff.
And he seems like the nicest guy, too.
Yeah.
And then also, their best receiver is this guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Great name. He was drafted in the 4th round behind, I think, 17 other receivers. He didn't think that was reasonable. He has all other 17, every receiver that was drafted ahead of him, he's memorized their names and he says them to himself all the time because he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
This entire team. This is the Detroit Lions being arguably the best team in the NFL right now. It didn't happen because of luck. They didn't just get some new rich owner. This was a bunch of misfits that came together and are now just kind of shocking the league.
Oh my God.
They're the best. They are currently the best story in the NFL.
That's like I think I might be a Lions fan now.
A lot of people are. A lot of teams. I bet you if you asked a lot of people, none of the NFC North fans, obviously, but if you asked a lot of people who are fans of other divisions, they're like, okay, so who's your favorite team? All right, who's your second favorite team? They would say the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions are a lot of people's second favorite team right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the NFC North. It's Parks and Rec.
Wow, I love that.
Just get ready for the AFC North. That's going to be a long one too. The AFC South, I'll tell you what, to make up for it, I'll do the AFC South in 30 seconds.
Wow.
I think we call it. I think that's the podcast.
I think that's podcast too. But yeah, I think I'm a Lions fan now. That's tea, sister.
Yeah, so that's Public Pool Podcast for 2024.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we assumed this was going to be a tight episode, but I don't think it was that tight.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But hope you guys had a happy holidays and we'll have a good, happy new year. And we will see you guys in 2025.
See you then.
Please freaking subscribe.
Yeah, and comment.
Because
be nice.
Betches is trying to rip us off.
Oh, yeah, those fuckers.
We'll address that in 2025.
That's
maybe. Actually, we might just not pay them any mind because accounts with 9 million subscribers or followers or fucking whatever. They don't need any more press. Goodbye.
Fucking more like cunches. All right.
Towel off.
Towel off.